from the West
so
Coast
it stunk
originally,
a
right?
little bit. No, I'm from Flatbush. I grew up in Brooklyn. Everyone asks here, where are you from?
All of your skills?
I go, Brooklyn, small town.
You've never heard of
it?
You've never heard of it?
No, I was just saying, someone was telling me, like, oh, you're probably so happy that you don't have snow. And I said, listen, my brother is in Hatzalah. And anytime I think of the winter, I think of the calls he has to go on for broken noses and shattered arms because people are slipping on black ice. And I'm like, you know what? I love the fact that my son got to see snow for the first time this week. He went with my husband to Mount Charleston, which is an hour away. For anyone who doesn't know, an hour away from Henderson is Mount Charleston, which is in general 30 degrees or so cooler than Vegas at like all times. So he went with him and they went like sledding on the mountains in Mount Charleston this week. So Mel really, really loved it, but then he was just like not used to it. He was just like, what is this stuff? But that was
what is this white powder?
Thankfully it's safe. We're doing great. We're doing great. Is this our warm up? Is this like making sure everything's working before we like officially get rolling? Is that the chill? You were like, where are you? I'm like, you said it was 8:30. I just got back from
I gotta know. I was like trying to figure it out.
I just got back from a kid's birthday party and I'm just like, I'm not like fully like regulated yet. Like back home, I'm like, okay, kids, see you later. Figure out where your Abba is. I gotta go. Gonna go hang out.
He's there. You know, husband that does web design.
Husband who does websites. Very close.
So close. I was
very close
about that.
I was very impressed.
Fine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So
portfolio is definitely there.
You're very fancy with the whole microphone situation.
I know. It's one of my favorite things. It's not even mine. You know, like you want things that aren't yours. It's a problem. Mine ain't this fancy. I have one at my desk.
Which one is that?
Commandeered. It's a blue. It's a blue.
Oh, okay.
It really picks up. He's picking up sound right now, and it picks up sound beautifully. Super clear. We have to fix this room though. A small note. We just redid it, and when you
except I'm not using it right now because it doesn't plug into my phone, and you're all fancy and whatnot. Did I just get chocolate all over my thing? I have a friend who imports chocolate from the UK, so I am gonna make a Mizonos, and no one get alarmed, but it's because there's cookie pieces in it. So don't be all like in the comments, is that the right broth? So like, just everybody chill.
It's like when people like make a whole comment, ooh, yeah, you see those pieces. So this is their company, they import it, they make it, or
no,
they just bring it over?
It's just imported over for me.
Just for you.
And kosher starburst.
Oh, so. Wow. This is like a personal hand delivery situation, sounds like. Sounds like a hook.
No, I do it as a service also, but I'll just pretend like I'm fancy. Okay.
You know, recently I was
nearing
in
Toronto,
the mark. And we are nearing the mark. But I have this one other chocolate story. I was in Toronto, and they have this brand I cannot tell you about. Also, this chocolate brand imported from the UK, but they're all par, like this vegan line or whatever. I brought some back. My mom's a chocoholic, and I gave her some. And she was like, it's parve. No, Israeli. It's parve. And I'm like, just try it. It cost me way too much money, okay? $8 a pop. I bought you more. Try it. Canadian dollars. But that doesn't make it make me feel better. So I bought it for her. And then she was like, this is not bad.
Do you know what kind it was?
I cannot tell you. One was some like a cream strawberry with quinoa pop. Like they were like out there flavors. They were like, how do we be bougie, fancy, different?
How do we rationalize charging $8 Canadian per bar is essentially what you're making it sound like.
They made it non-GMO, organic, imported it. They put so many...
Organi. Oh, these changes.
They made it
organi. Wow.
Organi.
I didn't know
My
you
mom
have
could
an
care
Israeli
for
mother.
less. Yes, my mom could
Trying to
care
move
for
this out
less,
is
which
so
is the
bothering
funniest
me.
part. Was my mom really
She
care
don't care
less for
where
these
it's from.
things at all. Yeah, she could care less.
Oh, you're adjusting also. I figured I needed to adjust. Didn't feel right. What's happening here? Hi, everyone who's joining. I got a couple on mains, which was pretty nice. Just checking out the sitch, seeing who's gonna chill with us tonight.
Let's see, I pinned the comment. Except the fact that
you what? Why do you keep freezing, woman? Is she freezing on you, or is she freezing on me?
yeah,
What's going on?
Just me.
What's come on, lady?
No, I'm back.
Okay, so why don't we
8:30.
introduce you?
Oh, nice. Okay, this is a good time to introduce people. I understand that.
Yeah. Did you pin your comment?
Pinning it right now. That's what I was doing. I just
I'm not
didn't want to be
I'm not going to
roasted.
report the comment, which I was trying to do. And it's like, would you like to report this? I'm like, not today.
Not preferred.
There we go.
Preferred little
So
situation.
welcome.
Okay.
This is the proper time for you to be joining. I'm commandeering this. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Barry Mitzman. You may know me from my page Barryana, and if you don't, then welcome. Today, or tonight, rather, I should say, we are schmoozing with, is it Sarah? Because I call you Stella. Or is it Sarah?
It is.
It's Sarah?
It is Sarah.
I like Sarah. Okay. So
I grew up with the Syrians. Sarah.
Okay, Sarah. Okay. So this is Sarah, and Sarah is, I would say, Sarah works for Yad Lachim, an organization that I've been aware of for a very long time, did not know the name and did not know specifics as to what they did. So when I was hearing stories from Sarah about it, I was like a little overwhelmed in like awe of what it is that they do, and like broke a lot of preconceived notions. So Sarah, how about you take it away? First, you can also tell people why you have that pinned comment and what's going on. Like what's going on tonight?
Yeah. So I think many people like just went around the internet. Barry pumped it up. It was so amazing. We made this Hanukkah trivia that I found the most fun idea. If anybody hated the questions, there's one person to blame, me. But we literally, the person who made it, if anyone was curious. And while we were doing it, we thought, there was prize to win. Somebody's going to win, brand new, third generation AirPod Pros. I have them right here. Winner, I ship them out. It's amazing. And, when people did the trivia, they're like, hey, I can go online. It's fun. Do with my friends, all cute. I might win something. So actually, by the end of this, we're actually going to do that. But then we thought, it has to be a little more than that. And then we had this idea with Barry, but why don't we do a completely special, different, like more prizes? People get excited. People love coming out and being part of something new. And I have a second one. If you thought I picked up one, there is two of them. And I have a second one actually that we're going to create a raffle. Well, there's proof. Yeah. We're going to create a secondary raffle just for people who are live here right now. And the way that's going to work, that's why there is that pinned comment. Anybody, while we're talking, we're going to be talking about Yad Lachim. We're going to talk about the work that we do, crazy things.
Which is crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a normal thing. I just want you to know it's not something that's normal. I've personally donated to Yad Lachim before. My husband has been like super passionate. The more and more I tell him about it, we've made donations. I've shared about it on my page, but in the form of like, if you want them to pray for you for free, like here you go. Not like they're literally saving people's lives. That type of thing. Just not something that we really talk about.
I want to be able to give you more of that information. And throughout the trivia, there was these did you knows, and we realized people didn't really see them. And there were such good conversation pieces about like, wow, it's more than just this organization that does this. It's this mind idea, like at the edge of your existence of like, oh, save women, Arab, blah, 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 blah. And that's where like, most people especially, know about Yad Lachim. And this was a great forum. And Barry, I love speaking to her about, what Yad Lachim does. And she is such an amazing connection about this. So we wanted to create this space that we can have this type of conversation, but also just so everyone knows, any type of donation that anyone goes to yad.live and gives, even from $5, every $5 will be another ticket and will be entered into every raffle we do tonight. And we're going to be actually doing raffles like every 15 or 30 minutes. And I have literally a stack of prizes right next to me. And this is just the culmination. You know what I'm saying? Like, and with every ticket, you can use Meiser money. You get entered into the next one, into the next one, into the next one. So I'm calling it a live Chinese auction vibe, but also while we're getting such great information and discussion going.
Right. I mean, I saw the prizes, I discussed with Sarah, but I also said, you know what, like this organization, like it's not relevant. Like it's just icing, like to potentially win something to help literally save women and children's lives. Like I'm not being dramatic here. Like you'll hear stories and they're completely mind blowing. Like I said, I was just at a birthday party and I said like, oh, I really got to go. I have this live that I'm doing with Yad Lachim. And they're like, what is that? And I just very calmly said, oh, they rescue young women and children from, Arab villages. And they're like, oh, okay. There's one thing we want to mention about that before we like go in and like continue. Something very clear that we want to say is that Yad Lachim is here for those young women, for those moms, and for those children who request help, who need help escaping. And Sarah will explain to us what that means from Arab villages in Israel. And now that just know this isn't a specific vendetta against a certain type of people or a certain type of ethnicity. Just there is an unfortunate phenomenon that occurs in Israel. And because of this phenomenon, Yad Lachim stepped, the entire Arab population, but rather filling a need for those incidences and those situations where there is a Jewish young woman, when there is a Jewish mother, when there is a Jewish wife and children who are in a very dangerous situation, physically, mentally, emotionally, sometimes all of the above, and get them out of that situation so that they can live free lives. Sarah, if there's anything else that you want to add, I just wanted to give that because like what are people donating to? What are people giving $5 to? What are people like helping to save a life? What if somebody decides to give a denomination of Chai? They're literally giving life to someone.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a great way to place it is it's really like when someone reaches out to us, people think like, oh, it sounds like a vendetta. It sounds like a really right-wing like organization. And it's further from the truth. Everybody that reaches out is in pain. This is a abusive situation and they need help. Those are the people that somebody needs help and there's no other recourse. There's nobody else that is going to help them. Like, I have stories, maybe we'll get to them about like how police officers and IDF soldiers literally say to these women who are living in maybe, on the Palestinian side, past the green line, past the red line in Israel. And they're like, we can't come get you, we can't help you. Even if it's in Israel territory, like the police who call them, they're not going to come.
But the question is why, right? So can you explain that a little more? So just a great example is we had a woman that we saved, and when she called 911, she felt like the Israeli 911. I don't know what it is. Sorry. And she felt like the danger was like getting really peaked, with her husband at the time. She felt like he was getting like very different than what was before. And she felt something and she didn't have a phone. She wasn't allowed a phone.
She wasn't allowed any access to the outside world. But he managed to leave just in that moment. Siyata Shmaya, like God, literally, like he left his phone at the side and she called 911 and left it on speaker. And when he was coming at her, attacking her with a knife, like, she said it out loud, like put it down, put it down, put it down. These, like, we think about it a little bit like an SVU, like literally, like it like seems like, what are you creating? Like, what? Like put it down, like, saying something out loud so the other side can hear. And it sounds crazy. Right. Someone's saying on the other, put down the knife, put down the knife, and it's all on literally on the mic going to the police department. And do the police come? No, they sent an EMT. That's all they sent. And because they even sent an EMT, she was able to get to the hospital. And there the police said, we can't help you. Like this whole situation, looks like this whole situation, we know it's bad. We're going to try to arrest him, but he's going to post bail, and all this back and forth. You don't have anywhere to go. We can't help you find new housing, find new help, and, any of this. But this police officer, a woman police officer basically said, we can't help you, but let me make a phone call. Make a phone call to Yad Lachim. And in 30 minutes, we had her out. She had nothing. She didn't have shoes. She had the bloody 12 holes in her body, clothing, like that's what the clothes were, bloodied. She didn't have glasses, shoes, anything, and we got her out there within 30 minutes. Once the doctor said, like, hey, she can leave, the police were like, we can't actually help you. It's dangerous.
I just wanted to give a thank you very quickly. Yael Zaks and Tamar Waldman have already jumped on the band, like jumped in, like Nachshon, just jumped in. Ariella Cacone just donated. Like, for people who haven't heard of this, like I wouldn't expect, I never donated to Yad Lachim until I actually learned what Yad Lachim does. And then it was the last tefillah campaign that I shared. I was like, how much Meister money do I have? Let's go. And honestly, I need to speak to you because maybe Shmuel can join whoever is going to the tefillah trip to Karastir during Reb Shaila's. So there was a reason why I tagged Yad Lachim on that Reb Shaila picture. Basically, they do these free tefillah initiatives. You guys have seen this on my page. We're gonna go back and forth. It's gonna be a little bit of a hodgepodge situation. We connected about tefillah initiative. A lot of organizations require you to give a minimum donation per name that you give to be prayed for. And Yad Lachim never does that. Like, sure, it's amazing if you can donate and if you're in a position to donate for that time. And what we did was we were sharing it, we were promoting it, everything. And then I was speaking to Sarah on the phone and she said, yeah, we do this like multiple times a year and people can submit like whenever they want. We have it open. They can submit. We had on the last day of Hanukkah going to 8 different locations. Thank you, Shirley Zelashovsky. Sorry, I'm like going back and forth. Like, I'm just so impressed that people are just like, you know what? Like, it's after January 1st. Like, January 1st, I'm going to start the new, like, Gregorian calendar year by giving tzedakah. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to do this because I want to get, by the end of the year, December 31st. But it's like, no, you know what? I'm just going to go and I'm going to give. So basically, Sarah mentioned to me, and someone else, Rena, oh my gosh, this is like really warming my heart. Sarah, I can't. Okay, sorry, I'm so distracted. So basically, mentioned to me, yeah, and like we go to Reb Shaila of Karastir on his yard site in Karastir, which is in Hungary. And a little while later, my husband goes, and he goes, by the way, he's really started learning about Reb Shaila. Thank you, Yehudis. He started learning about Reb Shaila. I've been posting, like, I'm not a Rebbe picture person. It's not something that I'm like into. It's just not my thing. And like, I found a place, and I read the book that my husband has about him. My daughter was just reading a story with my husband about Reb Shaila before we left for the birthday party. She loves these stories, and I really connect to it on multiple different levels, but that's for another time. And we got this portrait. We put the biography on a shelf right in front of the portrait so people can read about it. My husband said, you know what, like, would it be possible, like, after Pesach, if I could go to Karastir and go to Reb Shiloh's Kaver. So I'm like, you know what? Like, oh my gosh, you know, like that would be amazing. Like maybe you should go with Yad Lachim. So
we're going. We go. We're very into it. That it's something we've stood behind for well over a decade or two. When people said like, "Hey, I'll go pray for you, but I need something from you." We never liked that feeling. We're like, we're davening for Klal Yisrael because whatever they want to be davening for, they matter, right? It doesn't matter. Like if you would like to give a donation, it's amazing.
What?
But you're too close. We're not going to hold back. I don't know. I can't see it. Because it's from somebody's commenting, like from Yad Lachim's page. I don't actually see the.
Thank you, Kaya. I'm seeing all these names. Like for me, seeing this is like, you know what? Like, this is a real problem. This is a real problem. What we're dealing with here, and it's so scary to think about. But I also had a ton of preconceived notions about like who does what, and like what type of person can get into a situation like this. Am I going completely off? Like, I'm just jumping in. I'm like super passionate. Sarah, you need to reel me in and you need to keep me.
Let's go for it. I got info. I don't think Barry didn't really give the full like intro, but like I'm here on the American side of the social worker here, and I went to school actually for social justice, which is very random in context for Jewish land. But I think it's very important for us to like not be able to stereotype and really understand where people come from, because sometimes it's easy for us to judge people on the outside. How did you get into this situation? Like, don't you know better? Didn't you have family to tell you better? Without like telling a ton of personal stories. I'm Israeli. I can tell you for a fact that this has happened to two of my family members. You know what I'm saying? One came from my mom's side, and one came from my dad's side. My dad's side is a very big Rebbish family, like very, very Hashif people. And my mom's side is a very regular Pasha, like, Orthodox, nothing crazy, people from the South. And, either side, nobody is bereft from the South to the North about the possibility of like, of what Yad Lachim, what they help with, like in these situations that happen. So just to give you guys context of this it's very widespread, but in America, we don't really think about this as a possibility of somebody getting involved in a dangerous situation that they couldn't potentially get themselves out. And that's a very important factor. When I said it for a second, women aren't given in these abusive situations. They're not given phones. They're not given money. They're not given access to leave their houses without an escort. And it goes on. Like, these are called limitations of any capacity. How are you supposed to go and even take yourself out if someone were to put that type of mindset onto a victim? These are situations time and time again that they have so little recourse. And those are the women that we're helping. But I think Barry touched on for a moment, that a lot of women are coming from situations that you would say, oh, but they didn't know better, or they weren't given an upbringing similar to mine. Because if they had an upbringing similar to mine, then clearly they wouldn't have known. And
my assumption was like, maybe it's likely that they were like in a club and met a cute guy, and then they fell in love, and then they move in together, and then suddenly something changes. And then
he was nice, and then now he's not nice anymore. That's the idea, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 3 more people. Wow.
I'm
Thank
seeing
you, Sarah, Moshe,
Amy,
Chayarina. Wow.
Thank you, Miriam, Silverman. I'm looking at it from my side because I see as their names get added actually for the Raffle. That's what I see in front of me. So I see it like it's amazing.
I'm not getting that information. So
I have the secret stuff that I run everything. I run it. I click blue.
Thanks.
I know, right? But it's a great point that Barry just pointed out. People think like, oh, it's in these sketchy, so to speak, like, I would never do this. I wouldn't go out there. I wouldn't be exposed to this. And the hard truth is that most of these situations happen in the most benign ways. And they're the nicest of people. Right? Everything is good.
Keep that as a cliffhanger. Keep that as a cliffhanger. I think we owe people the first. Do we owe people the first raffle yet?
Should we do the first raffle?
I think I feel like we owe it to the people. We're 20 minutes in.
Should we do it? Ooh.
Who are you asking?
I know. Who should we do it, guys? I'm asking everybody here. Should we do the first one? I got like I think I should I want to just give the time, like they're adding right now, they're being added. So let's see, I'm gonna put till 50.
Okay, ZC says yes.
I'm doing numbers. ZC says yes. Let's do the first one. So let me explain for a moment for everybody what is the first prize. Like, I mean, like everyone wants to know something, right? The first prize, actually, I think this is like, which one should I do? I have.
Oh, CM, what up, sister? CM just donated.
Hello. This is actually a prize I've wanted. So I think here's interesting is we chose these prizes based on the type of people that we thought, like, you know, that would really
based on a vibe.
Barry. And the vibe is the vibe. The vibe is correct. Okay. And we're creating that vibe. Listen, I want to say that, you know, when you wake up in the morning and you just want to make yourself a coffee and you just want to take care of yourself, you know, it's a regular coffee, looks in this brown cup, is very sad. But if you're sitting already at home and you just want to make something nice and you want to make your, you know, when it looks pretty, your eyes need to eat, your eyes need to look good. But to give you perspective,
yeah, we picked these out.
This is my kombucha. This is kombucha. But it looks so nice to me.
CM said Tiskula Mitzvahs because we're homies. She saw.
Absolutely.
Arya, you donate $500 and I'll get you AirPods.
That's a great husband right there. And basically, I was talking to Barry, and I'm like, I found something so amazing. I have the pictures of these.
No, actually, believe it or not.
I know. And we looked at it, and we're like, oh my gosh, I want that. Okay, so this is a small, cute thing to start. These are basically these glass cups that are so Instagram worthy, as we're on Instagram and on their live spaces.
They're glass cups that are in the shape of a pan, but the top is bamboo.
And you have these glass straws that come with it. They're like, you make yourself a coffee.
Water.
There's my kombucha vibes right there. There's your beer in the background.
Are you kombucha girl?
You know, there's the wine. I am. I drink like a bottle a day. I make kombucha.
I tried hard kombucha, and I was like, I don't feel anything, and then tripped. So that's cool.
Well, all kombucha comes alcoholic, and when you make it at home, it comes with like a 5% ABV. I could tell you. But, all right, when I'm back on, listen, people don't believe me when I tell them the ABVs are the things I've made. I'm like, this is at 8%, and they're like, yeah,
good on you.
Really don't. I know, right? All right, we're gonna do just really small, something really cute to start it
off. And to catch up,
I would love this.
For anyone who just showed up, just to catch up, we are going to be announcing the winner of the AirPods from the Hanukkah quiz. We will also be giving away a second pair of AirPods to anyone who donates to, you know, minimum donation of $5, you know, whatever it is to be counted. Whatever donation you want to give is whatever donation you want to give. Wonderful, beautiful. But if you don't know what Yad Lachim does, it's a name you need to know.
Stick around.
And we are going to be giving away prizes throughout our conversation tonight to those who are donating. So you have, you know, pretty high chances of winning a prize, doing a mitzvah, and learning about an organization that people really need to know more about. I didn't know enough about it until I sat down and had like too many long conversations with Sarah. But now we're just having a chill, zen conversation to really just let people know about this. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like insanely passionate about this. Like,
love it.
It's something so incredibly important that you need to take extra steps to be able to connect to. You know, stuff happening in America, like even stuff happening in other countries with you know, struggles that we can relate to. Like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, you're gonna give, you know, to your local food pantry because you know people are hungry. But to go and like put yourself in a situation of, I live in Eretz Yisrael, I live in an amazing place, I made a bad decision based on being groomed. I was groomed into a situation, And I ended up in a place where my life is in danger. And how do I get out from there? And then how do I move on? To be able to like, just like imagine that, process that, something that I feel like this mitzvah of tzedakah goes an extra step, because you're really just you're not connected to it unless you make an effort to connect to it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make
also
sense?
Like, classics. I think it makes sense. I think we also get stuck in ideas that we're now, it's good by me. I don't have these struggles. I don't see this happening. I said, like, I've seen this happen to my family. I've seen my family get bothered in the middle of the night. I've seen them get robbed. I have stories for days, even just on my own family experiences, with literally grooming, like literally grooming somebody to make terrible decisions and impacted a crazy amount of my family, and that's what these individuals, these women are experiencing, right? They get groomed into the situation. And when we say, like, if you go online to Yad.live, right? And if you said, I want to get stuck, I have my money, what does it mean, right? When we say, like, give chai, when we say, like, what does it mean to give $18 a month, let's say, to help save someone's life, to help save lives, literally. It's like saying 60 cents a day. Does it, like, do I have in America, I spend $5 on this kombucha, $5. I drink half a bottle a day. We're not going to mention it. It's my health trend, whatever. I also brew it, so we're getting off of $5.
No, I feel like it's your way to get an alcohol, but whatever. No one's judging.
But no, this is non-alcoholic. This is the one from the store.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
But with that in mind, sometimes it's a little bit, for us to say in our minds, like, I can go to Starbucks or Dunkin' or, just a coffee shop, and I'll grab something, and I don't think about it much. I don't think about, but when I say to myself, I'm like, could I give a little bit less than Acorn's amount of one transaction? Get the joke? Acorn's the investment app. Thank you, everybody. A little bit amount, all right? 60 cents a day. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I save someone's life with literally that little? That is literally what $18 a day, $18 a month is. It's basically
$18
60 cents. You can. I won't say no. But it's really, like, accessible. Like, what I'm saying? Like, it's so accessible. It's like saying, like, do I make more than $180 of money a month that I'm going to just give Meister? You know what I'm saying? Is it my money? Is it Meister money that I'm putting aside to do something as special as what this mitzvah is, which we'll get into its video.
Now I want to save up. I feel so silly. Last time I gave.
I have a great story.
200
do the raffle, but I have a great story. Yes. I have the raffle though. I'm doing it now, but I want to say that yes, I literally have a great story about that. Like, somebody heard one thing. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I'm like holding it. Okay. Everyone who came in a little confused, I'm doing a raffle right now. I take everyone's tickets. If you gave $18 a month, I actually give you 3 tickets, and you get automatically entered. All these tickets actually go to the next raffle as well. You always get added to the next ones, to the next ones, to the next ones. It's amazing. So I'm just going to run the raffle right now. All right. Ooh, Mazal Tov too. Chaya Sanders. I don't know. I have, here we go.
Okay, Chaya Sanders.
I'm taking down her information. B'ezrat Hashem, you're going to be getting this from Yad Lachim. It's these beautiful
Send me a
bougie.
picture.
Bougie. Look at this.
I want them.
I want this. We saw them. We were like,
can you imagine? Like, it's just a vibe.
It's such a vibe. It was like literally. It's. I look at it and I'm like, I want that in my coffee. I make my own coffee every single day, and I love it. And I'm like, I really want my coffee to look in like be in that though, like, the coffee.
Nice way to take my collagen. I've literally just been drinking hot drinks every day because I'm trying to, like, stick to drinking collagen. It's like, I'm like, really, okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
It's amazing for you. Like, absolutely great for you. So have that in mind. Collagen is awesome.
5. No, for real. Like, I've been trying it. It's good. My nails get long really, 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 really fast now.
Let it grow. Let it grow. So let me ask
That
actually
kid's
tell you a
figuring it out.
little
Yeah.
fast story
Tell me a story.
about that. You know, when we think about like, should I like, you know, I don't have now, should I have later? Like, you know, can I do this? Can I not? It was very interesting. We had an event 4 years ago, 5 years ago or so, and we left a brochure. It just said information about what we do. And one of the pieces of information was that people were shocked about is like to support a family. I mean, the woman, many of them are very young, and I can get to the statistics about that. They're crazy. I told Barry, she was shook. They're very young and they have children, and now they have this whole, you know, and maybe they've been, you know, separated from their families, and you know, they've said, I don't want anything to do with you. I've literally had women, you know, I know the stories of like, you know, I don't have a daughter anymore. They sat Shiva on them, you know, instead of helping them, they're like, you know, more
You're
for
out.
that. But this one woman, yeah, literally. And we had this woman, she took a brochure. And I didn't know, we didn't know who she was. We just walked away, right? 3 years later, we get a phone call. Hi, this is Yad Lachim. And she asked specifically to the person who she spoke to last time, 3 years previously. And they're like, yes, how are you? How can I help you? She's like, I had this brochure. I put it in my drawer. And to adopt a family, to support a family for 1 year is $12,000 pre-inflation. I don't know what it is right now, but you know, family, children, mental health services, everybody, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we're helping with rent, utilities, furniture, like they have nothing. Like they left with the clothes literally on their back. Like, you know, like that is what they have.
Trying to get rid of such an unsafe situation. You don't have the time, the wherewithal, or you might even not have the belongings that you need in order to survive and be comfortable.
No, definitely. Like it's just not something like you have glasses, maybe you don't have them when you ran. Maybe you have clothing, but you really only have what you are wearing. You know, maybe you had access to a phone, probably not. So you need a phone, right, to be able to function in society. You know, all these things just that we take for granted. And this woman came and told us, for 3 years, I had this in my drawer, and I put aside a little bit every single month. I would like to sponsor family. In 3 years, she collected herself, one woman, some random, not even aware, collected $12,000 for herself. She's like, I wanted to do that. I wanted to support a family. I wanted to do that and have that. I had another woman literally also hear from a story from somebody that was impacted and was saved. And same thing. Said, I want to do that. And gave $500 a month for 2 years, basically. She was like, I want to do that. I want to do that so much. She connected, she understood the pain that this is another Jewish soul. And she made the decision. So sometimes, you know, when we have now, we don't have now. We make the decisions for later, but we also just keep them in mind, realizing that I have this privilege on my side and that there's other people that are really suffering and that really need our help. And I can do something eventually. Those are just crazy examples in comparison to that most people is just like, I can give time. I can give $18 though. You know, I can do that. I have a job. Or maybe I babysit. I had a tiny job last year. We won't talk about how little I made, but basically I have $50 a month, so you can do the math.
You had a what?
I had a small job last year because I was finishing up my degree.
What is a tiny job?
I taught like three times a week. It's called a tiny job. One period, you know, 3 times a week. It doesn't make much.
I didn't even know that.
I remember every single month.
Yeah.
I call it tiny. It was tiny. It was really small, this job. You know, as I was trying to finish up school. But still, every single month I had $50 in my cert. I decided what am I going to do with it? And when I do the math on that, that's nearly 3 chai. That's nearly 3 times 5. 3 little life amounts that I give away. That I say, you know, Hashem gave me this money. Even that little amount that I had. You know, so everyone makes their own hush bonus.
It's intense to even try to imagine, you know, what's going on. But I think I want to discuss with you a little bit about like who from the cases you've taken on. And by the way, whoever is manning your whoever's manning the account and leaving comments is a legend.
She's awesome. I actually don't see any of it, which is hysterical. I just want to know. She's amazing. She's awesome.
She is a legend. Okay, let me just got all in caps, guys. We flooded in work over here. Donation coming.
They're awesome. We have like literally you can go to Yad.live right now, and if you wanted to give, be part of like, saving lives, and being part of that on a monthly basis as well. But we have someone literally there ready to like that 1-866 number, literally ready to also answer the phone and to take, because some people do like to do it, from their phone. Already there's like 3 of them. They're absolutely amazing. I will not joke. I said every time I need for volunteers. I need people to pump and to be here. And this is Bushy. Her name is Bushy. She's awesome.
Someone just said,
Bushy
just said, yes, go Bushy. Get Bushy.
There you go. There you go. She's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I think you asked me a question, but we're both ADHD.
Yeah,
she is.
Bushy. You're getting some shout outs over here. Mm-hmm. But like, what type is that? Your kombucha? You drinking it out of a fancy glass? Who are you?
5 seconds over from where you grew up. I'm from Midwood.
Kensington? Oh,
yeah, Kensington.
No, where in Midwood? Where Midwood?
Avenue H. Ocean Parkway.
Oh, that's considered Midwood?
It's East Midwood, but we don't ask questions. It's technically not Kensington.
Kensington-esque. That's not Kensington-esque.
It's askew. It is askew, but that's one block over.
Kensington adjacent.
Correct. Adjacent's a great word because it's right there, but I'm not. It's like I'm part of nothing. I'm not part of Flatbush. I'm not part of Midwood. I'm not part of Kensington. I'm not part of Borough Park. And I'm not Syrian.
But I thought I was part of Midwood because I was on 26th and Kings Highway.
So that is technically on the map, that is considered Midwood. Most Jews refer that to as Flatbush. Even not Flatbush. Technically. Yeah.
Flatbush.
Yeah. It's funny though, because if you actually look at the map, most Jews have no idea what they're talking about when they say I'm from somewhere. That's why I say at this point, I'm like, it is East Midwood. Nobody knows what that means. You know where the Syrians live? Me too.
Me also. I'm also adjacent.
Me also. I went to Syrian school actually growing up. So me too.
Where'd you go?
I went to Shaarei Torah.
Was that a reference?
I went to Shaarei Torah.
Oh, no. My kids, I didn't grow up listening to Shmuel Kunda, but
I have no idea what you're talking
about. I started learning about all these yeshivish tapes growing up, like the entertainment that my husband would get because he didn't have TV when he was a kid. And one of the things, they got stuck in Thailand, and one of the people they met was Me Too. So he used to go, Me Too, Me Too. So now my son just goes around and goes, what's your name? He goes, Me Too. I'm like, sir, you will not get into the day school if you keep doing that.
I don't think we'll have day school. The kids, I don't think anyone knows what's flying. But if he says that.
Truth be told, in my school interview, when I was applying to, preschool, they asked, my name is Barry, and my Hebrew name is Pesha Gittel, but I was not so aware of my name being Pesha Gittel. I just was not aware. So they asked me what my Hebrew name was in the interview, and I was in my head, I'm like, what is a Hebrew name? And then I made this connection of what do other people, what's your other name that people call you? So I was like, oh, well, my grandma calls me. So I just went and they said, what's your Hebrew name? And I said, Pocahontas. And the principal burst out laughing. I still got accepted to the school miraculously. But yeah, my grandmother used to call me, "Oh, my perfect precious princess, my Zizkite, Pocahontas," because I had long black hair. My eyebrows are black as night, and that's before they were properly shaped. And I did have a piece of Pocahontas life.
The wild. Can you see the colors of the wind over there?
I still went there. Whatever.
Don't worry. It's fine. Half of everybody who lives in New York, you go to the airport for the first time as a child and they're like, Vivian, and the kid's name is actually Yocheved, is that me? And they're like, did you? Oh, like, is this kid like yours actually? Is this like a kidnapping situation? You don't know their names?
So I teach my kids. And what do they call you at the doctor? What's your name? And what do they call you at the doctor?
You gotta preface this.
But she's calling the Habibis. So anyone who's just tuning in right now, I am having a wonderful discussion with Sarah over here. Sarah works for Yad Lachim. Yad Lachim does incredibly life-saving work, saving women of all ages. And when we get into the ages, you might be rather surprised. And children from dangerous, abusive situations in locations in Israel that are not accessible via the Mishtara, the Israeli police, as well as soldiers. So Yad Lachim has people who go on these extremely dangerous missions to try and successfully get these women and children out from these very dangerous situations in Arab villages. Am I missing anything? Oh, and while you donate, any donation of $5 or more, each denomination of 5 will get you entered as another ticket into number 1, winning multiple prizes throughout this live. And the second thing is, boom, AirPods. We are giving out AirPods to the winner of the, we're picking a winner of the Hanukkah quiz. That was, that
already known.
Gone.
Yeah. Like, I mean, somebody's going to win it. I'm very excited to see who it was because that thing went everywhere. I've heard people get it on their most random of chats. They're like, it ended up on I had somebody in my office. He refuses to send anything around basically, but he's great. He doesn't refuse, his joke. But basically it's like someone from his kollel sent it onto his kollel chat. He didn't send it even. And that was the funniest thing. Like I had people that I knew personally and they're like, they sent it to chats that I didn't push this. And I'm like, very impressed. It was amazing. The trivia game that most people really liked it. They loved it actually. I read all the comments. A lot of work
to do.
Thank you. It was a lot of work.
No, you gave me so much work. I texted her after. I'm like, you know what? You tell me that I should share this quiz on my page. And I'm thinking, great, people are going to have a fun time. People are going to take the quiz. I didn't do so bad. I got a 16 out of 21. I was very proud of myself. That was a very hard quiz. So either I had to like figure out what somebody's secret sauce was for, being a genius when they got higher than me, or I had to comfort people who felt subpar in their Hanukkah education because they scored not as high as they would have liked. And
we did tell people
very
the average was fairly low, 9 to 12. Would the bell curve really like to sit in that space? Well, like this, woo. And it was very few people who got like perfect scores. I mean, like less than 5% made it past 18 total. Like these questions were, I was given the task by myself called trivia, and I'm like, it needs to be trivial.
I bequeathed myself this task of torturing human beings.
Correct.
Making them stress out so much. Bushy Green, you go, girl. I love this Bushy. We need to be friends. Everything's in caps. She's such a party.
Mm-hmm.
Is she like a caps gal? Is that the thing?
100%. No questions asked. Like I gave her the job of put down and hype people up, because sometimes we don't even give ourselves all the credit. I have tzedakah, I have nicer money, it's not, whatever, I'm going to give it away. But it's hard, money is actually one of the hardest things. No matter, even though that, you're going to give some of it, it's tzedakah, it's so integral because we spend so much time working and it's a big avoda. So it's so important for people to really know, like, it's important that when you take the time and you really got to do it, there is that little, it always small, sometimes it's bigger to other people. Everyone's on their own different levels. And we need to recognize for ourselves as well that it's such a big move of us to take care of other people. It's something we take for granted as Jews, but like, it's not. Humanly, it's not. We just take for granted sometimes a little bit that like, oh, we take care of each other. Oh, we'll give from our salaries 10%, 20% sometimes, right? We'll give from my heart or energy. You know, sometimes we can be there for someone, chesed, and be there for someone, but sometimes I can't be there, right? But you know what?
Right.
I know somebody, and maybe I'm not as qualified. Maybe I can't do this work, right? Like, you know,
Right.
the work that we have over 30 social workers full time. We have a whole crew and a whole committee situation, basically.
So can you explain how that actually works? Like what is that? Like, why do you have so many? What's going on? I don't even know. So I'm like genuinely
I think I'm Israeli, right? So I call it like a little bit of an insider joke. I think there's more social workers who work for Yad Lachim than there are for like Shari Tzedek, like one of the biggest hospitals in Yerushalayim, like, you know, Hadassah. Like these are huge hospitals, and everybody knows hospitals have tons of social workers. There's basically more. And the reason being is because one, these women are coming from all different backgrounds. There is first generation that need mental health support and social work support, which is also helping them settle in, rehabilitating, and restructuring their lives to get back autonomy. These are individuals who have basically been left zero autonomy in many cases. You know, like shattered self-esteem and identity completely. And one you understand is that no area is discriminated against, from the furthest reaches of Eretz Israel to the Yerushalayim, where actually most people don't realize, but 30% of all the women we help come from Yerushalayim. So that's actually one of the biggest, most religious, like, you know, presenting and around cities in Israel, basically, other than Bnei Brak, you know, and it has so much diversity. 30% is a very, very high amount just for that one city. But otherwise, I have social workers who, like, you know, they drive, they go to them, they make sure they're checking in on them. How are you doing? Giving them connection, giving them, you know, that area and that space to really create their new version of themselves as they're helping themselves, as they're developing. So, and it's just the honest truth that most people are not ready for is, if I'm a social worker, 30 people is a very big caseload. The actual amounts of people is past the hundreds, is what 30 social workers handle. And that's how many people are being helped consistently. You were talking about women, you were talking about children, multiple children. Imagine you have a child who, until basically going through identity crisis, they thought they were, you know, they thought they were an Arab, they thought that, you know, you saw a soldier, you know, you threw rocks at them, you know, to you're Jewish actually, this was not a great situation for you. And they've just gone through a whole identity crisis, you know, it's a child maybe
I didn't even
10,
think of that
15. Part. And yeah, it's really, people think that the first and the only thing is getting somebody out of a bad situation. That's only one part. You know, you take away alcohol from an addict and they will not become not an addict, right? That's only the first part. The first part is what we do is very well, as people know so well about, is that we go and we take people out, right? Of course. The main thing that we're actually so specialized in is helping them start life anew. There's a whole transition process. There's a whole like rehabilitation in many cases to help them start life again. I mean, like, many of them actually do need actual full-on, you know, recently I was speaking about to a woman that we helped, that once we saved her, she needed 7 months of attentive care, because she was, not to be too graphic, but she was very, like, you know, very down, very depressed, anxiety, and, you know, suicidal. She needed consistent care.
Yeah.
She was literally, and she needed support, 7 months of support before she could start to begin to really get out of there and start life. You know, that's a lot. You know, most people don't think about it. You know, I also. All right, I think we've fixed the problem. It seemed like the connection just cut. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, just cut. It was weird.
It was so weird, but I'm so happy it did, because I really had to go use the restroom.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Literally, I like ran out. I'm like, smell, I randomly stopped and I had to go to the bathroom. It was so bad. And then my daughter's going like, Ema, isn't it so nice that you could just run to our potty and you don't have to walk all the way to yours? I'm like, yep, just in case they message me, where are you? We're back.
Because that's the perfect place to be, you know, like, Your pack.
So Hashem was really nice to me.
Okay.
I'm actually pretty thankful.
I'm so happy that happened. Oh my gosh.
I'm very happy for me. So
okay.
People hopefully are going to come back on. We're going to continue.
Let them come back. So sorry about that. We had like some shocking little thing called internet issues. Never happens before. It's the phenomenon is very new. I'm sure it's like people are just catching on. Soon they'll call it a pandemic or something.
Don't use the P word. Do not use the P word.
It's not a P word. Okay. It's about. But I think what I was in the middle of saying for anybody who was listening before was about the social workers. So it really is that people don't take a lot of time to think about it, that there's so many different things that need attention. And it's not just the women themselves. There's first generation, there's second generation, generational trauma that, is, and these changes that they go through as they try to settle back in. It's difficult when someone says like, hey, I used to be with an Arab, I'm trying to, like, maybe they become more religious, maybe they don't, finding, a new partner, trying to find shidduchim again, in this new reality. And you're like, oh, you have children who are half Arab, there's a lot that's hard in these realms. There's just so much. And without getting into every single facet of what Yad Lachim does and all the different subcategories that,
Can we repin? Could we make another pin again? Because the pin is gone. But add something about like the tickets and stuff to like win prizes. If she's doing it, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep eating my chocolate while she goes like loop-de-loop like that. There you are.
Oh, it's when I come in and out?
Yeah, you're like all loop-de-loop. There's like a little loop-de-loop. But yeah. Thanks that you love that I'm eating. I love that I'm eating too. I can't eat dinner right now. You don't want to see me eating like chicken and potatoes and stuff, cabbage at the moment, but chocolate's good for it now.
A little snack, just a little snack goes a long way. So I just want to give a shout out. We have actually one of the people who really make our office possible. Her name is Rhonda. I would like to just say hi, Rhonda. Thank you so much for being here. Rhonda is essential, the reason why people actually get the things at the end of the day, so to speak, like the shipping, like everything. Master woman.
Okay, people are asking for another raffle.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. So we did over there, for anyone who's joining before or after, we did these. They were awesome. I love them, the bougie and the vibes. But I think what we
basically also, let's catch them up to speed on why we're doing this. So we will be announcing the winner of the AirPods from the Hanukkah. We will also be giving away another pair of AirPods to anyone who donates not to anyone who donates. Anyone who gives a minimum donation of $5, each denomination of $5 will be counted as another ticket. We'll be going in for a chance to win the second pair of AirPods that they have. Yes. Sarah, show that we have two pairs.
I have proof. One.
Where's the other pair? Two. See, there are two pairs. There are two boxes. There are two pairs. I don't want you being like, here's one, and here's two. Yeah. And here's three, and here's four. No. And then throughout as well, we're also going to be giving chances to win some fun different prizes that Sarah and I, Sarah found on Amazon, and I either said, yes, do that, or do not do that. So I gave my seal of approval on those. Yes. So every dollar that you donate, like I already told Sarah, I'm like, Sarah, I do not like fundraising. I don't like fundraising. What if nobody gives anything? That's why every time I see a name, I'm like, oh my gosh, people are like, listening. People are listening, and people are donating, and people like are understanding how important this is, Mm-hmm. Even if they just say it because I'm like, listen, I researched this and it's valid, and come on, I know, like, if you have some stuff money, go for it. Like, I'm flattered. But what's better is if you're all like, listen, this is super important, and You're starting the new year off right. I'm not really into New Year's. 2022 was like not my favorite. Neither was 2021 or 2020. Whatever. It's been fun. And someone actually put out a meme of like, I really feel like 2024 is going to be the year. Like, she put that out on first. You know what I mean?
You're ready, like,
it's just like,
ooh, doomed it.
You know, walk like
yeah,
going
so
in.
what we're gonna do, and just so everyone knows,
Yes.
is of course you can use any and all that stuff of money. Don't worry, any Meiser money that you want, this all counts towards Meiser money. And any donation, you get a ticket in, and you get added into the next raffle. So it's not like just like, you know, you use up your, so to speak, your ticket, and you know you gave in a donation and that's it. So I want that also to be known. So we were actually talking, and we, of course, we did the cups, which I think were bougie. But we were talking about
We may do more cups. We'll see.
I just
it
like
depends
the
on the vibe.
I like the cups enough. I can do another cups. I love those cups. Those cups are amazing cups. But one of the things that I wanted to do with Barry is when we're talking about, you know, previously you probably heard on Barry's page when she's talking about Yad Lachim, that we really believe in free tefillah. Like anybody gives in names for tefillah. So if you actually go online to yad.live and you go and give a donation, you know, you can, and that would be added to the raffle. But you can also just give a name for tefillah. It's always free. And B'ezrat Hashem, the Baba Sali's yahrzeit is coming up, and you know, the holy Baba Sali, and we're going to be going B'ezrat Hashem to Eretz Yisrael to be davening at his kever, and to Hanukkah on that day. And any names, if you submit names online as well with, you know, anything, of course, it's going to go as well. So I just wanted to make that known to you. But when we were having this conversation with Barry, right, about tefillah, and you know, when originally I reached out to Barry, I'm like, what do you think about, like, you know, we really believe in free tefillah, no matter what. Nobody has to give there's no minimum donation. We really believe that davening for people. And you know, we were having this discussion, and one of the things I actually have over here was the next prize is very much with that in mind, right? You know, a little bit like, you know, with that in mind. And you know, let me pull it out. It's one of my favorite things, actually. I'm not sure if
I was actually wondering what it was, because I saw on like the pamphlet, because like we get the mailers now. We get our mail. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that actually looks like. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. So let me just show you guys. So this is a lamnatseach.
Oh, wait a second.
It's beautiful.
Hold on. I gotta read something. I have left names for tefillah many times without donating. That make giving tonight easy.
That's so true. I really appreciate that.
Wow.
I missed who that was. We don't ever ask for people to act, like say, oh, you need to give money for us to daven for you. We really.
I get there are places that do that, and I get why they do that, and I get whatever. But that's the reason why I was like, you know what? I want to work with Yad Lachim to spread the message, because you guys, like, you get it. And like after I took the Hanukkah quiz, it was like, oh, here, click to submit names for the last day of Hanukkah, and I was like, for sure. Like, and like, unfortunately, right now we're dealing with a lot with my father-in-law. My father-in-law, which I've shared publicly, suffers from dementia, and he got COVID on his floor, and he was in the hospital for 2 weeks and got multiple infections, and things have really not been looking amazing. I do hope that my efforts to try and raise funds will grant him rachamim from Shemayim. And it was like by Hanukkah, I'm like, you know what, like I really need to put his name in. Like he needs the tefillos, and it also felt good because like at that point I like didn't calculate my Meister yet, and I was sure, let me put it in, and then you just click the donation amounts. I put in 0 for them, and I put in the names that needed to be put in, particularly my father-in-law's. And I was like, you know what, like at some point it's hard to daven for yourself, and it's hard to daven for the situation when it's so whatever. Like last night we literally went on a wild goose chase trying to find where my father-in-law was. Can you believe that? We didn't know where.
It sounds like a silver alert.
But he was in the home, like in the assisted living, nursing home, whatever you want to call it, rehabilitation facility. They just had no record. They did not put in that he was back, and he was not on the floor that we expected him to be on. But that's a whole other story.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. All right.
Yeah.
So let me just
being
do the
able to
raffle
have you
so
guys
we could do each raffle.
was like amazing.
Someone's like, oh, can
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really hard, just in general.
Yeah.
Hard to hear about that.
No, but it was nice to also know and comforting to know that there were people davening for him at all of these places. So like it's something, though it's not your primary mission, it's something that I myself personally am very appreciative of. Okay, so let's move on to being a little more exciting and upbeat. Sorry to lower the mood. We'll get back out there. Let's
go in both ways. Ways.
Show the thing, because my husband's very into that. Oh, I want to see it.
This is a beautiful.
I'm gonna screenshot
frame.
Screenshot.
Send it to your husband.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a beautiful lamnatseach. So I'm sure some of you may know about the skulos and the major power about having the lamnatseach, which is, if you've seen it right before Baruch Shamar, in the menorah, and it gives bracha to the home, and she gives bracha to the home, and just putting it up. It's beautiful, and remembering not only is that you want that for yourself, and it's also like normally we give it to somebody who's like really a supporter of Yad Lachim, because it understands like, wow, I'm part of this, and this is part of me now, and I'm being part of something bigger. And because we were talking, basically, me and Barry were talking about like tefillah and and connecting on a deeper level. Sometimes it's hard to connect with tefillah, and it's sometimes it's difficult for us to like bring that out of ourselves. So it's just two things that come together. It's this lamnatseach is going to be the winner, and this one right here, and it's Tov Lahodos. And I thought they worked so well together, because I'm sure maybe some of you have a Tov Lahodos, but many people really don't, which is so.
I don't know what that is.
It's a shame. A Tov Lahodos, it's beautiful. It says Tov Lahodos and Shulchana Zana. And your name is enjoyable to sing. And in the Tov Lahodos, it's broken up into all these different tefillos that you can basically take this with you and have, Parak Shira, Shir Shirim, the Shmas, Agaras Rambam, Tehillim, more and more and more, Kriya Shema. It's just like a tefillah little in your pocket,
Okay.
My jacket pocket. Like, you can have this with you, and you're like, I really want to daven it. I don't want to say necessarily, it has the classics, has the Tehillim, but also is like, I want to connect to something else, like the idea that, Agaras Rambam, or Shir HaShirim. Exactly, and it's all right here. It's all one piece, and both of them are like tefillah oriented for us to think about, right?
Yeah,
and that was what that. This is exact prize is for.
So donors,
draw it right now.
Donors.
All right, let me draw it. Let's see it.
Let's see. Get some really nice artwork. My husband says the lamnatseach from there during Sfira every night.
Right. It's and many different people have different minhagim to when to say it or how long to say it. 40 days, specifically like for something, like really keeping in mind this as for themselves.
Do you know what?
It's amazing.
Scientific thing behind 40 days?
No, but please tell us.
I mean, we understand that 40 days is like segula, what we do, but on a physiological level, your neurological pathways can be effectively altered if you do something consistently for 40 days. That's when your neurological pathways change. So you're actually physiologically changing yourself, not only in the way of like the way that you act, but doing something for 40 days can alter the pathways in your brain. Right. So I always thought that's so fascinating. Change. Yeah.
So I'm gonna make this. Ready, everybody? And the winner is Julia Gantro.
I know who she is.
Julia, are you here? I'm curious. Let's see.
One of my giveaways over December. So we've schmoozed already.
Oh, that's so nice. That's actually really nice. Let me see. Julia Gantro. Let me get that. This is me making sure that people actually get, what they win. So this is just so nice. Let me just grab back at what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We were a little bit discussing. We were talking about the social workers, and I think it's a great way to like really shuffle into what does it mean to support something, right? Support, that type of idea. And it was interesting because when we talk about like supporting a family, support, like, you know, and, you know, coming together as a community, coming together as yourself, but sometimes it's easier to come together as a community. And this is, in a sense, you know, a community, right? Like if we said to ourselves right now, okay, $10,000, like, what is that really possible for us to like come together somehow, each one individually? Like if I gave $100, but if the next person gave $100, I said, wait, that would all really come together before you even knew it as a unit. You know, when somebody does like a Chasa Sefer Torah, everyone in the shul, like, you know, they do a parsha, and you all come together to be able to bring something beautiful like a Sefer Torah into the world.
Right.
So like in this space, right, we can always come together now as a community in this time and say, can we come together and change someone's life? A real someone, a real, like an individual, a family, somebody who at the end of it, I'm like, I was part of of saving a life and supporting a life, really. And that's what we're talking about when we say, like, can I give chai? Can I give a portion? It's more than just saying, oh, I'll give $5 now. It's more than saying I'll give $18 now. It's saying, like, can I do this? Why can't I not, you know, think about doing this consistently, right? 60 cents a day. Can I not do that? Like, you know, can I give $18 a month? You know, I can do that. Can I give chai for myself, as a schooler for myself, even, you know what I'm saying? Or in schooler, as schos of someone as well. You know, many times it says, you know, like giving tzedakah and schos of, you know, the yeshua as a refuah for somebody, right? When those meanings and, you know, those real feelings will come out when you're really meaning, and this is a way for you, for Hashem to create a pathway to give you bracha, right? And we're saying, like, can I give a pathway? In this one instance, for myself, for someone in mind. Many times you know, if I'm on the phone with someone and they're like, hey, I would love to give a donation, thank you so much. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. How did you want to give? How did you hear about it? Something like that. And who's it for? And sometimes many times I get there, I would like to give it in support of one person. As a big amount. Normally people think like, oh, the bigger the amount, the more people I would put under it, you know, like stuff will more. This person was like, no, I just want this one person. It wasn't their kid, it wasn't themselves. It was really it was really like, I'm taking care of somebody else in quality cell because I care about them, and there was no strings attached. Wow. And I think that's an amazing thing for us to consider as well on our side of, can I do that for myself, even if it is for myself, even if I am at first like thinking that can I give myself, you know, this chus that can last me, you know, always for forever in Shemayim, right? Nobody's ever gonna, like, you know, you can never get taken away this chusim, and that's amazing to say. Like, chai, can I do that? Can I be chai? I'm chai right now. I'm alive right now here in this earth. Can I also, while I'm alive, give chai so I have exponential chai, you know, in the world to come, you know, and that, you know, and that's a great way for me to explain. Most people don't understand what the mitzvah is that we do. They don't really know much about what the mitzvah is we do. And to give everyone perspective, what we do is a mitzvah called Pidyon Shivuyim. So Pidyon Shivuyim means releasing somebody who is a prisoner, okay? And, you know, releasing prisoner, people always think of, like, you know, like back in the olden days, you know, ransoming somebody out of jail, you know. That's really what they think about. But today, what is Pidyon Shivuyim today? Giving someone back choice, giving them the opportunity to be chaya olam hazeh bechira. That is what we're doing. Remember, I given you examples of women that, like, they don't have a phone, they can't leave without someone escorting them. They don't have money.
They need someone with them at all times.
Or
they need to just stay where they are.
Exactly. That's not life.
It's essentially
that's not the fear.
Imprisonment.
Exactly. These
isolation.
Don't have choice. I've horrible isolation stories. Don't get me into those. Terrible, even worse. If you say isolation, I say, like, I have a terrible story. You know, like, I mean, like, but like, and that's what it is, right? And they don't.
Well, we just got a huge list.
Wow. You know,
Sarah, Frida, Edward, Esty, Devora. Wow, thank you. Wait, can you please keep
it's amazing.
going? I'm sorry. Can you explain the concept of Pidyon Shvuyim again? That it's taking away the freedom of choice.
Right. When mitzvah Pidyon Shvuyim is keeping in mind that we probably don't even realize too much, but in brachos in the morning, which has the encompassment of all the requirements of tefillah, right? So in the brachos, when you go through it, one of the brachos are Matir Asurim. Thank you, Hashem, that I am not enslaved, that I am free, that I'm not enraptured. Thank you, Hashem, that I have an elevated status of choice, right? That I was born a Jew. You know, it's all these brachos that are encompassing the idea of life every single day. And for those who don't know, that actually the Rambam, straight up in the Rambam, you can look it up after, is the Rambam says about how important Pidyon Shvuyim is. It's something that probably didn't even realize. The Rambam says, Ein mitzvah rabbah to Pidyon Shvuyim. There is no greater mitzvah than Pidyon Shvuyim.
There's no greater mitzvah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like a little bit like mind-shocking to me. You know what I'm saying? I grew up like, you know, from and you know, here in Brooklyn, you know, you always get told, like, you know, everybody gets like a little bit of a feeling of what is the most important mitzvah I should do? What is the most important thing for me to keep for myself, or just as a general rule, as this is the most important thing I should have in mind. You know what I'm saying? And I never wasn't thought about like the fact that you're even making.
It's usually the superficial things that we're encouraged as the most important things. But then, you know, to go and give someone else the ability to have proper choice in their life. That's basically living. If you don't have choice, why are you here?
Of course, like that's many people here know.
Our whole life here is essentially a simulation of choices. Like when I'm in like the best of places, I can say like, yeah, it's just a simulation, so we can get through it. And then like the next day, I'm like crashing down, and I'm like, why is this so hard? And then if I say my head goes like, it's just a simulation, shut up, you know. I don't want to hear that. Like, this is terrible. But we do have choices, not necessarily of, you know, changing our situation completely. You know, that can be up to Hashem, but how we handle situations, the choices that we make on a daily basis. If somebody is essentially held hostage, they don't have a choice. It's either I risk my life by trying to leave.
There's something to say about like when you have the fear and you have choice, that's the reason of being alive. That's why David Melch, you know, if you read the story of the end of David Melch's life, you know, it's all about, you know, this came around and created a choice, created a fear, created a nisayon for him. Without nisayonos, without the fear, without something you're constantly working on that you have access to. That's why we were always, you know, if someone is a Eved Ivri, you know, they put a hole in their ear if they decide to stay, because this is the ear that heard at Har Sinai, that you have free choice, that you should choose to be the maker of your own life. Right. And now that you're not choosing, you're making Pidyon Shvuyim, because without someone is a shavui, when someone is a prisoner, there's nothing worse, because they can't do anything else, right? Because there's nothing else.
But not only that, it's there's a constant living in fear and pain. Like, you told me some seriously scary situations of domestic violence that are just, I mean, we have a glimpse of some organizations and some situations where you share, you know, situations of domestic violence, most of it done in private, you know, unknown by other people. And what Sarah was explaining to me is that in some of these villages, domestic violence is treated as a social norm towards women and children. And being known that it's like, it's not only is it not a secret, but like everybody knows, and that's it. Not like, oh, we're gonna call the cops, we're gonna take care of you. It's okay, so what? Or you're Jewish, so, you know, it's what's coming, you know, God forbid. You know, the stories that Sarah told me, she was like getting all graphic, and I was like, "Hun, not safe for work, like not safe for social media. Like there may be children watching.
Never know.
But essentially, there are these people who are, close to death because of how injured and how injured they've gotten from these situations, and still being told, I'm sorry, the soldiers can't come to save you. I'm sorry, the cops can't come to save you. Like, call Yad Lachim.
It's a hard thing to say that, your justice system is not going to hold up, to be in your defense. It's a lot to say that, that there's nobody around you. There's no of that, like, oh, people think, oh, there's peer pressure. Bystander effect is a very big problem. And, and when that's when you think it is a problem. This is, in spaces that they're like, oh, this is normal. This isn't acceptable. You're not meant to be, treated with that type of respect in these cases. And, I was speaking to one of the women that we rescued, and she was talking to me about like how people think that oh, they're just the same, even, if a Jewish woman married a Muslim man, it's actually not. They're considered like a substandard, like, citizen, so to speak, in those situations. Like, they're like a lower tier. Their children, they get more discrimination. They get treated even worse. Their children get treated even worse. Like, these are the women that we're helping. These are the women that feel like there's nowhere else to go.
Like mudbloods. We're going
Harry
Potter right now.
That Harry Potter reference?
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's the type of dynamic. And when we say to ourselves here on the side that we hardly can recognize such discrimination in our own circles, but this is actually a Jewish woman, so technically this is our circles. These are our sisters. These are the people we are. This is our family as well. Yet we don't say that. We don't feel that here, especially on the American side. Like, where would you see this? Where would you feel such camaraderie with someone in pain? I've seen, like, here in America, people are like, something's happening, and everyone will rally together. We'll show up for each other. If something that's harder, the further the person is away, like, the less you know them. Sometimes you have to, like, connect to that feeling of, like, Kol Yisrael Ravens Elzeh. This is someone just as important, as my own sibling, as somebody who I share full blood with, right? Different type of blood, Ruchnius blood. So I just want everyone to know that when you go out of your way right now, right, and you say to yourself, it's such an amazing cause, and I'll give something monthly, that I can be part of this mitzvah. I can take those mitzvahs with me, and I can be helping somebody on such a continuous basis, right? That's what we're really, like, we're so happy. I've literally heard from the other side of this room. Some of you were here when this happened, but there is a few people on the other side literally making sure that you're hearing about every donation, and that you're hearing, and that they're there to basically make this all run behind the scenes. And they were talking to me about, like, it was just coming in, that people were just giving tzedakah because they understood that this was something that maybe they didn't know they could be part of, or that they should be part of, or that this is such how bad is it? And to give you perspective, and this was a shock factor I told Barry, and it was really a shock factor. I think most
ready for it. I was waiting. I was waiting.
Cannot even super comprehend. But people think, like, how old is the girls, the women, we like to say, that we're helping? People think about when Sarah, just girls. That's what I'm gonna say. And people think that you're always thinking about some woman, maybe past 30, maybe in her 40s, children, and that's the mind view. And it cannot be more wrong that the majority of women that we help are from the ages of 12 and 25. 80% of the women and children, and they're not talking second generation, that these are their children. No, I'm talking about they are getting involved with this problem, and like Barry said, they're being groomed for this exact problem. I'm talking this grooming problem and this situation, this cycle of pain, 12 to 25.
I'm like nauseous right now.
I honestly didn't think even when I've been working for Yad Lachim for 4 years, and when I first heard that, I was like, "Are you sure?" Like the data doesn't lie. This whole thing's fully in Hebrew, but they just one of the statistics they drew up. They figured out. They went through it. They're like, how many people are from religious backgrounds? How many people are from how long is their age? Everything. And we did the study. We pulled up the stats. We pulled up the stats from the women that we've helped over the last 72. This will be the 73rd year. You know, Yad Lachim has been around for a very long time. Yad Lachim started in 1950. It's probably one of the oldest, you know, modern chesed organizations with haskamos from Rav Chaim Kanievsky to the Rebbe to Rav Vadia to the Baba Sali to, you know, everyone in between, from Moshe Feinstein. Like, if I went through, there's actually a Haskama booklet I have next to my desk, just going through Haskama after Haskama after Haskama.
That's rabbinic approval for anyone who doesn't know what that means.
Rabbinic approval, understanding that this is something we so need, that we need. This is they're doing what needs to get done, and we've been doing it for years and years and years and years and years. And it's really kind of funny a little bit in the senses, and it's crazy to think about. When I first talked to Barry, she's like, I heard it, I know something. It's like a background information that exists. Like, I don't know if villages want something. But like the actual realities, it's like it's so much more. Sometimes just gets lost, and it's something we should really know more about. Oh, yes. Yes, hey. We have the mushki. If anyone's curious about the mushki, do you hear her? Do you hear her?
Yeah, barely.
Yeah.
I just want to say we are falling behind. You guys are donating. It's coming in so fast. You're slaying us. So you got this. And actually,
I think we should do another raffle.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you guys. Awesome.
She's so cute.
Yes. You know, people over here is like, guys, keep in mind that like these are the moments. These are the little things that will change lives. So I just want to hear that pep talk. Know that is real. That is true. That is literally changing lives. Is
what she said, in case people didn't hear it.
If anyone didn't hear what she said, they're literally falling behind. They're trying to take in everybody's donations and you know, adding it to everything that needs to be. That is the type of things that we're being part of right now. Like in this space right now, that everybody here is like saying like, I can also add a little bit. I can also change lives, you know, from where I am, from whatever position I am. You know, it's, if people think like, oh, the real people who make change are those people who give to us. That is so farther from the truth. The people who make changes are people who are regular in their day-to-day lives, thinking about, you know, what should I do the next day in the morning? That should I take the bus or the train, or is my car gonna freeze? Like is there going to be snow or ice and I don't want to deal with it? Regular,
not my problem
things that we think about as not like that. This is my problem of the day. This is what I deal with. Not like that. Like that's other people deal with. The other people, like, you know, big people, like, you know, give lots of money to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like someone's doing that. And I'm like, no, actually, the people who make Yad Lachim run, people think, is regular people who decide to say to themselves, this is so important. I have chesed money, I have tzedakah money, I have meiser, I have money for myself that I just want to give. And the people that just stand up and say, you know, I'll give $18, I'll give chai. Literally, I cannot explain to you how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of individuals, only in America alone, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of individuals that say something like that, something so small but consistent. They make and break and they change lives, literally. It's not about a big number that will make some big difference. Small, $18, and say, hi, I am giving life. And I'm going to do the next raffle, but I just want us to think about that before I'll tell you more about the statistics about how that works between the ages of 12 and 25. I
also want to talk about, after that, I want to follow up with the preventative measures that you also do, because it's a big issue when people are just, you know, saving people when it's too late without doing preventative measures. It's like, oh, we're here for when it's all gone downhill.
Mm-hmm.
You're also saying, and we are going to help impressionable young women. We said it starts at, vast majority starts at 12.
12,
like
14.
how to prevent
that is the where it starts.
from actually turning into an emergency situation where Yad Lachim has to be involved in a significantly more dangerous type of way. You know, speaking to young, impressionable women is much easier than going into a very dangerous village to try and save multiple people from a terrifying, physically dangerous situation. Okay, what are we doing now? What are we up to?
I have two options. I have like two really good options. So
okay, what do we got?
And I like both of them. I know we could do one now, we're doing one later. We have Shabbos vibes. Or
Shabbos vibes.
Snuggle vibes. Snuggle vibes. Shabbos snuggle. Shabbos. I want to do both on Shabbos though, so that's I want to really cozy up on Shabbos, so that's just maybe a me. What do you think, Barry? It's a good question, right?
Okay, hold on. Well, we're obviously going to do both.
Right. But what should we do right now? Everyone who doesn't know, maybe joined in the interim, we're actually doing live raffles on the spot right now. And you can go to yad.live in a second. And any amount that you donate, of course, we're talking about like saving women's lives and making a change in the Jewish people. But any amount that you're donating, you'll see that it's like from $5, every $5 increment. So if you, let's say you give high, you give $18, you know, and you say, no, I'm going to do $18, I'm going to do $18 even a month. And I will count that as 3 separate tickets because at $5 increments, we're going to count that. And every single raffle from one to the next, you get added to the next raffle and to the next raffle. And yeah, actually, it's a great question. Do we have a team of women, people that monitor these things? I think that has to do, we can get into that with the prevention question.
Yeah.
Because we do actually do a lot of prevention work and a lot of monitoring work, maybe, as you might say. It's a lot of things that go into how we get aware of the women that need support and need help, how we find out about the women who need rescuing. People think it's very hard. I just want to say this, but it's very hard for us to like help ourselves sometimes, but you don't realize with Jews how much people care about you and how much people are willing to help you, even just put you on the radar that this is something that, you know, you might want to hear about. Right. And I've had women that we've helped that they're like, I didn't even know it existed. And other women, like, I heard about it, but I just felt so scared reaching out. And, you know, somebody will reach out, something's for you, and say, hey, I know somebody. Like, you just know she exists. Know she's there. Know she's there. Right. And we'll start putting out feelers. If someone is happy, we don't go after them. If someone's in a bad situation and they're in pain, an abusive situation, we'll move heaven and high water to help that person out. And we'll like say, hey, is this true? Are you okay? Do you need our help? Do you need our support?
Literally have rescue teams, people. Like
literally. And we actually have to give you perspective. There are 3 women that their one job is 24/7 in Israel to answer the phone. We have a specialized hotline in Israel, like a 4-digit hotline, like star blah blah blah, and people call it all the day. Like that's literally people's job consistently. Unfortunately, so it's less rare for, let's say, different organizations.
When it comes to Israel and people going into Arab villages, to my understanding, it's rather unheard of for an Arab woman to take a Jewish man and bring them back to the village and have that man be, you know, safe enough to be in the house and be in a situation like that. But I'm fairly certain that if there was a situation that came like that, and if they called you, it wouldn't be something of segregation or being like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And it does happen that men do get a lot of our support because we have two other factions that most people don't hear about, which is anti-missionary and anti-cult. And basically what that works
anti-cult,
is
you guys also do.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned above that their father was very involved in getting people out of cults.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing is like, it's all about brainwashing, right? Everybody, it's all about like, grooming into a certain idea. So it's much rarer. We do help a lot of men consistently that just more second generation. These are children of these women that are now trying to, be in this newer, different culture than them, in the Jewish culture where, there's a lot of different stereotypes, good, bad, a lot of, negative and things like that they get. That they learn, in the very older style culture and community, and a lot of work getting away from that and helping them with that. So we have actually a lot of men at this point, a lot that are in our help and support. But it's very rare, like Barry said, that they would enter into a situation because of how the Palestinian and Arab culture is set up that the man has naturally more rights and has a lot of power that he wouldn't be able to have in
said her dad was involved in sort of removing individuals from cults. But could we pause on this?
Yes, I'm doing a raffle.
The education, the preventative education after we are done.
All right, let me roll with this one. So did we go? Which one did we choose?
I don't know.
It's great options.
I don't know. Just pick one.
Okay. I'm going to choose this one because I honestly have these and I love them to pieces. I travel a lot. I've seen Barry literally in Vegas randomly at least 3 times over the last 2 years. Yeah. Like just like in Ariella.
In
like,
the
pizza
store.
Yeah. In the pizza store.
You're like, hey, can we chat for a second? I know you. Yeah.
Like it's like, girl, like we see each other like just randomly, literally randomly, walking into each other. So, traveling sometimes, especially, let's say you go away for Shabbos, let's say you go away to the country even, doesn't matter, right? People would just go away for a little bit, even if it's a little getaway. Nobody wants to take their own stuff necessarily. What if it gets hurt? What if it gets ruined? Something, but you still want to.
What if it gets hurt? Did you just say, what if it gets hurt?
What if it gets hurt? What if it gets hurt? Okay.
What if it gets an owie?
It can get hurt. It get hurt. Probably that's not the way to say it. And but like my mom and dad are like my example in my head for this. They like my father only like will eat on like real plates. Like we went away for Pesach once, and I schlepped from New York in the car all of the Pesach plates. Oh, everybody else was like, just take nice plastic or just take plastic. And my father is very much the type he said like, but if it's Pesach and it's special and it's Chag, then I need to have what I need. It needs to feel like Pesach. It needs to be real. It needs to be what it deserves. Pesach needs to be what it deserves. So right here I have these 2 gifts that we're going to put in the raffle. Yeah, one is this candlesticks, beautiful, the travel size candlesticks. They crystal beautiful. Let me just show you for a second. You do this.
Wait, I want to wait till you get clear again. You're like fuzzy, not fuzzy. Oh, okay, I could see those. Oh, those are nice.
Beautiful. 2 of them.
That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting more like tea light situation.
There are tea light situation. There's 2 types, but this is the candlestick.
No, that's
and
nice.
I chose this one to go with this one. They're gorgeous. And when you're going away for Shabbos, you're like, hey, I have something beautiful, small that will come with me, and I will actually experience Shabbos and my candle lighting just as a beautiful level that I would at home. Like not just putting down some candle lights on the windowsill, and just calling it a day.
Yeah.
Right. And it's gonna come along with this. I'm Sephardi, so this is my favorite thing. I'm Israeli. That's a better way to put it. If anyone doesn't know what these are, you should have some in your life. These are specialized little they're not little. They're these they go over your blech, and they keep the warmth in from the top, but it's not hatmana because there's still the sides open, and they keep the warmth really in.
Cover thing.
Yes, the plata cover things, and it said L'Kvod Shabbos Kodesh, and it makes all of your tins fly away from your eyes, so you don't have to see them, you know, because you're like, everything's in another tin. You
They
know,
fly away so they don't get hurt. You're doing great.
Don't get hurt. And we honestly use this one at home every single Shabbos.
Yeah.
My mom loves it to pieces because she's like, oh, perfect. And B'ezrat Hashem, these two will come together. Let me do this. Let's run this raffle. You get both of them. They're beautiful. You can take them whenever you go on way after Shabbos. But you can use them at home. I know a lot of people who use these, you know, when they have like. I
want to try that whole cover situation.
Amazing. All right, let me go for this. Okay, here we go. All right, Ariella K-Con, and I know this person. This is, by the way, random. There's a whole random thing. This is amazing. Ariella K-Con, awesome. There you go.
Wait, you know her?
Oh, I actually do.
Well, I saw her.
I think
her name on the.
Yeah, a grade or two younger than me in high school.
Really?
Back in the day, I recognize people's names. Yeah. A really small world after all. That's awesome. There we go. All right, these two are good.
Wait, so she's Sephardi? Does that mean that she's
feelings too?
We're not picking the next winner yet, but I do want people to know what the next prize is before we pick it, and then after we pick that one, are we ready to do the AirPods?
Yeah, I'm really good for this. Do you want to see what this is? Okay, we chose this. Me and Barry both own this product. Is how much we like it.
Wait a second. Do I own it?
Did you? You said you wanted one at least. You said like. Do you not get one?
Is it the thing that you mispronounced?
Pronunciation's not my strong suit. Okay?
But is it that one? Oh no, not that one.
Not that one. What did I mispronounce?
You can do that one. You mispronounced charcuterie.
I do. I literally said charcuterie.
Yes.
And she's like, charcuterie? Like,
charcuterie. She likes charcuterie.
I do like charcuterie. And
so
I have beef jerky.
Like this, but I don't have this one because I am a huge swaddle beef fan. That's what we said. That's what we said.
I got this last Hanukkah. It's my favorite thing. Every single winter, you deserve one. These are these oversized, huge sweater, snuggliest things you've ever seen. I can't explain how comfortable this is. It goes like, I'm 5'9". It goes past my
Really?
face. Yeah, like it's long. Like
no.
if you're like a small.
I was talking about how tall you were.
Oh, really?
I know this.
What do you think?
I don't remember.
I'm 5'8".
I think I was just sitting also, and you had like this messy bun. You were like, messy bun eating pizza.
I can put her up in a second. Don't worry. I'm 5'8", but like most people are like, you don't seem 5'8", and I'm like, because I'm wearing shoes, so I just grow another inch.
I dated a guy who pulled that shtick. Depending on the day, I think he was really like 5'7", 5'8", and then when he was in a good place, he was like, I'm feeling 5'9" today. I'm like, well, you're not.
I'm feeling 5'9" today, even though I'm sitting, but I am 5'8". Fine, she caught me. I'm 5'8". I grow an inch every day, though. It's like a whole like. It's amazing. It's a little bit.
Depending on how much kombucha you drink. Nice.
Yes, it's very healthy. It's good for your soul.
Just so you know, we have about like 20-ish minutes left. So if you want to put in for that AirPods, that second pair of AirPods giveaway, get in on it. We're closing up shop.
Now's the time.
20 minutes or so. So now is the time. Higia Hazman to support.
Yazman Lalechet. That is. Do you know that song? Yes, I can't sing. You know, this is
right.
Never know.
So I can't.
Yeah, there's no tone to this, but the words are Higia Zman Lalechet. It's come the time to go.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. I can't sing it, so like this is.
Yalla.
I'll tell you after.
I would just say Yalla.
Yalla. It's time to yalla at people. Okay.
Yola.
So now, but like, just so we understand, we just did one raffle, but I feel like I want to just do another one, then go back to the conversation.
Okay,
Everyone,
fine.
This is my favorite accessory of my winter wardrobe. Unfortunately, it is not approvable for work. That is the only sadness that we can really say about this. It's not approved for work.
I can't confirm or deny these claims, but I do know that
Unless you work from home.
Yeah.
Then you can.
I mean, I do work from home, but like I said, I'm a swaddle be
Good
gal.
for you. That seems like a lot of like loyalty. A lot of loyalty right there. That's swaddle be. All right, anybody like we're gonna do another one of these raffles, and then we're gonna have a little more discussion, like Barry said, and then we're gonna do not one but two AirPod raffles. One for just the people that were here on the live and that gave a donation to change lives, literally only for these individuals. It is such a small pool. I have never been seen a raffle with better odds in comparison. I don't think you understand like what happens at raffles. Like if you go to a Chinese auction.
Oh, she told me.
Who?
I learned. You.
What?
I was like so
Oh my
disheartened.
gosh. Yeah. Like I explained how like big regular raffles get. Like in the context, like when I was growing up, we used to do Chinese auctions in school, and people like don't realize how many tickets get chucked into one box. That I'm like, it's amazing. It's all B'dei Shemayim. It's all from Hashem's hand anyway, if you'll win or not. But I'm like, the numbers don't like you also. So I want everyone to know here that it makes such a big difference, especially if you're going out of your way to say it's more than just a prize. It's more than just a raffle. It's more than just something monetary right now in this life. And when you say, especially, it could have been final. It could have been high. You know what I'm saying? And you're like saying to yourself, like, I'm giving that now and I'm giving that next month. And I'll give that the month after because I realize my mitzvos and this need and all that doesn't just expire just because I am or not being entered into a raffle, right? We always have to give ourselves that credit to understand that we know that that's more than that. So I just wanted to give everyone that perspective. All right, I'm going to choose the raffle right now.
Okay, fine, do it. You're very passionate about this.
I do. I don't know why, but I keep using the letter J and it chooses a random. Judah Isaacs. I wonder if like, some of the people are still here or not. Is Judah Isaacs still on our live?
I mean, I saw the name from Yad Lachim saying it. Mm-hmm. And I also see more people donating last minute, which I respect.
Yes.
Get in on it.
I mean,
yeah.
I like the Airpod
Bracha getting in on it. I see Javi
yes.
getting in on it. Another Bracha getting in on it.
Absolutely. As you should. I would add my own name in a few different things, except I'm not allowed to win. Am I allowed to win? No. The answer is no. The answer is no.
It's a hard pass.
So it's a hard pass. It's amazing.
Pass.
But everybody else, you are allowed to win. So you go, guys. You go.
So we've spoken about the dangers. We've spoken about the crises. Can we just get a little bit about what the preventative measures and education you provide?
Absolutely. We actually run, it's like an average of nearly 2 times a week, every single week of the year. When you just average it out, there's a preventative class happening in Eretz Yisrael. To give everyone perspective, Israel is not that huge, okay?
It's New Jersey.
And
the size of New Jersey.
It's smaller than New Jersey, okay? There's only 9 million people, and I have a confident conspiracy that they count everybody who doesn't live there as Israeli. Also,
the people who have the Americans who have rentals.
The Americans who are not allowed unless you get back a passport. I don't know. That's not me. I'm not talking from experience. But really, in a real sense, prevention is the core of actually helping a problem. Because if you just let a problem keep creating of itself and just perpetuating itself. You know, you're just likely for it to come back. You know, you're just likely for you to start in the same situation. So we spend a lot of time and effort in creating spaces that people learn about Yad Lachim, that they understand that not only is it a resource, that's one thing that is being gained out of this. You know, another thing is realizing how real this problem is and how much they should be aware of it. And to give you perspective, people think, oh, we mentioned it for a second, they're like, oh, you know, if they were like me, if they were religious like me, or if they had my mind, or they had my perceptions about any of this, they wouldn't have done this. And I said, you know, it's hard to hear, but like only 22% of the women we help are not religious, come from not religious backgrounds. You know, 22%. That gives you an understanding that 78% come from religious or Haredi, Dati or Haredi backgrounds. Right. And they are getting basically whatever you're thinking that they should have gotten in their minds. They're getting it. You know, and to give you that full thought process for a moment, you know, we had a woman that we rescued, and we bring them to speak to these girls, you know, to these schools, you know, at Assembly Imagine, and tell over their story for them to really feel emotionally connected to how real this problem is. You know, a lot of this conversation, even now on this live, has been a little bit toned down to, you know, not give anything too graphic. But I've told Barry some stories that she was like, whoa, that was bad. You can't say that online. Yeah. And I'm like, I know, right? But isn't that sad to know that exists? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
it was very graphic.
Very bad. And when we were talking, so I told her, I'm like, okay, so we had this woman go and speak to 500 Beis Yaakov girls in a top seminary. Imagine a Yerushalayim B'nai Brak type, okay? All these girls are Beis Yaakov girls. It's so different even than American Beis Yaakov. It's like they're a whole different level of something else. Beis Yaakov girls. This woman did not know why she was talking to these girls. She was like, of course they know not to do this. Right. Of course they know this is a bad idea. Of course they know. She's like, what am I going to say? Even if my story, you know, I mean, like, give them perspective. Of course they know not, you know, versus her upbringing that didn't give her that background as much. She went, she said her story, and the girls were like, wow, they were really shook. And she was a little bit like, I don't really see why I was here because, duh.
We're not on the same page here.
We're coming from different, of course they know how to do this. 4 girls from that crowd came over after, called Yad Lachim and said, I didn't realize it could be this bad. I've been talking to this guy for the last year. We've been in a relationship. My parents don't know. It's gotten serious.
You didn't tell me that part. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They called up and they were all varying degrees of where it was. I remember keeping in mind that this is a grooming situation. What most people don't recognize is that they don't meet at a club, at a bar, at some, you know, out of this space. They meet at school. They meet the janitor. They meet the guy who works at the falafel shop. They meet the guy who's just nice and, you know, hands them something. It starts off very, very, very benign. Like, you know, just another person, not realizing there's a serious cultural difference. And that will come back to bite. And I didn't realize how bad this could be. You know, and maybe someone would say, hey, that's not a very big percentage. I'm like, the fact that percentage exists from that exact school, you know, the percentage will actually tell you that it's much higher. These are 4 girls that stood up, called, and made a change.
And actually said something rather than keeping it to themselves.
The amount of from themselves that stand up to help themselves is so difficult. That is less than 10% of how we find the women who need our help. So if you take that number, it's less than 4%, but 10 sounded better. It's less than 4% of the women that need our help, that want our help. Less than that are the ones that reach out themselves. The rest are a friend, a family member, somebody. Now you take those numbers and you put it back onto that 500. And now you're looking at the amount of girls in that school, 50 more, that might be in something similar. They're just not standing up.
And this is like a very, right-wing school.
Mainstream, super right-wing base Yaakov. With every stereotype embedded into their brain cells. Grooming does not have any boundaries, right, and does not discriminate. That is the hard,
really frightening
fact.
That's extremely, extremely frightening. Yeah. And what do you do for those girls who actually do reach out?
Oh, and we from that moment, it's a whole we help them from the second we help them end the relationship. We help them mentally get over and through everything, depending on what happens with them and their parents and their families. Many times we try to make it as quiet in those situations because if their families heard about the situation, right, they would literally lose it all. And is that the right thing, wrong thing? It's not not the point of this discussion,
right,
but it's just the reality that I like to say, instead of harping after, but why would people do that? Instead, what can we do? All right, we're coming really towards the end, and I want to just give everyone that last little piece of information. Is there any other questions you really want to ask me? I think the preventative work, we do a lot of work out there for to try and stop this. We literally, there's somebody always out there, making sure people realize how big of a deal this is. All right, I'm going to do the first raffle for the Hanukkah trivia. Okay, this one is the big one. This one is for anybody who managed to get the Hanukkah trivia, come through their door, get a hold of it, and said, wow, this is really fun. I happen to be able to win AirPods, never know, and see who wins this. There was a lot of people who did this. It was so much fun. It went everywhere. The stories are incredible. I could stand here for days reading the comment section, like on a YouTube video, but on the trivia was hysterical. Actually funny. People were like, I went to Beis Yaakov my whole life. I should know this. Ow.
I told you, you made my life so difficult.
It was
so
funny.
Ridiculous.
It was really funny to read. I read through thousands of them. That's how funny I found it. To tell everybody who won, his name is Mr. Aryeh Morgenstern. Aryeh Morgenstern is our winner, Baruch Hashem, and I am going to get that, to him, But for everybody who's really curious about being here on the live here with me and Barry, that stayed for this conversation, that put themselves into a position to listen to, some really emotionally, more disturbing and really emotional provoking, right? Really deeping and reaching into ourselves, to have those conversations, to have those talks with ourselves about topics that sometimes we just like to ignore, or that we just, say, keep ourselves more ignorant of. But in the world we live in, I think that, it's harder and harder, but it's more and more important to keep ourselves in the loop, especially to other people and Jews that really, if they're living this life and they need us to really know about it, because ignorance is what creates these cycles. Right. So I want everyone to know that coming out here and, maybe you were here for a little bit of time on our live, maybe for more, doesn't matter. If you take away anything at all from this whole event, right, from this whole live, this whole conversation, is that there's never a conversation that ends all conversations. Right. There's always more to say, there's always more to learn, and there's always more that we do. And with Hashem, reach out. You can reach out to the Yad Lachim account. That is me, actually, who will respond to you. And I would love to, if you want any more information, you could always reach out. And there's much more to say. We had so much. Yeah. Me and Barry had a whole entire page. But
I don't know if we got through half of it.
I don't really think so. But that's not the point, right? It's quality, not quantity. So I'm going to create the raffle. Anybody, last minute, last chance, I'm giving 2 more minutes. If you go on right now to yad.live, and if you give a donation, any money that you give, of course, is going to help save a life, such as the ones we've described. I literally had if you're from the New York area, we had someone actually come and speak. And she told me, public name is Raffle. She said, yeah, Yad Lachim is my family. I had no family. My family abandoned me. I had nobody. And she gave up. It sounds small to us, but not to her. She's like, there's so much my family. Like when I spend time with them, they make my life so much better. She had a Shabbaton for Erev Rosh Hashanah. We run for the girls, to have that camaraderie, to have that family environment. We have other, there's so much we do. And she's like, I missed it because I came here, and I really, really don't like missing them. They're so important to me, like really emotionally important to her. But she's like, if I come here and I'm able to convince people to help my sisters, that's how she describes them.
Right.
Like if I could come here and like be able to like, and every single day when she would talk and we would have, she would go and like speak at different places, she cried and she meant it. And I got to know that woman for over a month at that point. She meant it. She literally every single time she said over her story, she got emotionally. I'm getting emotional now.
Take a drink of kombucha.
I know the kombucha is really good. No, but really, she really, every single time it happened, she felt like it was taking another part of her, but she was doing it for a purpose that we don't realize how small our little impacts of giving something small is going to impact someone's life. And she was like, I'm giving that up. I'm giving up myself. I'm emotionally putting myself through this trauma, retelling of this really difficult story, because it's so important that people know that this is real, that this happens. And in those situations, it gets graphic. She's saying it as it is. B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to come to Florida in February, B'ezrat Hashem, and someone else is going to come, and coming and hearing straight from someone who experienced this is a whole different. It's very different than even me and Barry, right?
Right.
So different. This is someone who's bearing their soul to be there, and be there, telling you what it is like. Woman, even in particular, like there's no picture. All of them. We don't let pictures. We don't use their real names. Nothing could go online publicly. Like it's very difficult, to find, pictures. I have here, someone came and they said I would really love to see like pictures and videos of things. I have a sock load. It's just so private and so like, for
right.
someone's protection, right? In many cases, there's someone still very angry or after them,
right?
And so I just want everyone to understand that before we do the last one, that if you did any last moment, any last mentions, that was a good time. Now it's a good time because I'm about to do this. It takes 5 seconds when I click. You really make a difference. Okay, my jokes, I know. You do make a difference. I do mean this in the bottom of my heart when I have someone call up and they're like, hey, I would love to just give something. Doesn't matter what it is. They're changing someone's life that they'll never meet. We call that a chesed shalamet. You'll never meet them. You'll never know who you helped. You'll never know how you changed someone's life. You can't buy that in the store. You can't even get that in your regular chesed from your high school when you were growing up. That was the type of things that I knew like was respected for very few people, like chesed show. Like, never meet these people. They'll never know who you are. All right. I'm going to do the final drawing. Thank you, everyone who came. This is the Airpods for those who are here, those who are with us, those who really made a change and a difference in people's lives. I saw them stream in. I saw the donations stream in. And I'm hoping that this is a conversation that, we can keep open. And I think, Barry would, and me are both here to really show you that this is an organization that really has Jewish people in mind. All right. I'm going to do the last drawing. Thank you, everyone, for coming. The Airpod Pros for those who came live to the Yad Lachim and Barry Manson show and tell, so to speak. I know, right? All right.
Let's do this.
Sruly Zeleshovsky.
I saw his name on this.
Sruly Zeleshovsky. All right. thank you everyone for coming. Any questions you can send our way. The Yad Lachim account, I will see them. These are the Shem. You'll also see this will all be saved in all its awkward 3 parts on our pages.
Hopefully we can mesh it together.
I know. I like it. Like they're all like I saved them each one.
Okay, good.
And then I was able to join because I was like, oh my God.
And then we can.
Thank you all so much. If you have any other questions, feel free, put it in the chat or send us over. Tiskel mitzvahs for all being here. It's hard to be in such conversations, and I think it's amazing when we could see that we're here for those conversations as well.
100%. Thanks for your time, Sarah.
Yeah. Bye everyone. Good night. Have a great night.
Bye.